everyone, it's Anya here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are making a heart garland. As you can see, I have hung it up in my living room with my little lights there, and you see there is my little spot that I sit for the lives. So it's up high up there, and it is so easy to make, and it was such a fun project. You make the hearts, you put the tassels on, and the hearts are so easy to make, and all I used was my leftovers. I have a box full of leftovers, and sometimes it just overflows, and this was ideal just to make. As you can see, the hearts are so adorable, and then the tassels on them. I will be showing you how to make the hearts and how to put the tassels on as well. So I hope you will enjoy this video. If you need a small present for someone, this is the ideal project for you to make. So there we go, let's start. So to make the heart, we are going to get started with a magic circle. We are going to cross over the yarn with over our fingers. So we have the end of the yarn here. You make a cross over both your fingers like this, and you hold the yarn here like so. You then take your hook, I am using a 3.5, and you go underneath this one here. Then you turn your hook and you bring back the back loop there, the back string, bring it up. Then you turn it round and you go back to that same back string and you pull it through. This is your first chain made around your magic circle, and you are going to take it off your fingers and hold it like this. It's best if you sort of keep it tensioned with these fingers here, like so, and then also on this side with these fingers here. So we've done one chain, but we need 3, so we do another 2. Then we are going to do 3 double crochets into the magic circle. So we are working over our 2 strands. And a third one. So now we are going to do a treble crochet. So we are yarning over twice and again into that magic circle we are doing a treble crochet. Then we do 3 double crochets. All I can hear is the squeaking of my chair. Oh dear. Then we do a treble crochet. All the while you are holding your magic circle at sort of, tensioned. Then we do a 3 double crochets. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Now we do a 4th treble crochet, but as you can see, look, my magic circle is getting, this bit here is getting a little bit short, so I'm going to gently pull it so it's a little bit longer. So we are doing a treble crochet, so that means yarn over twice and do our treble crochet. Then once again we do 3 double crochets. There we go. Okay. I mean, does this chair normally make this much noise? Okay, so now this chain here is going to count as our first treble. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles. Each time we have 3 double crochets in between. Okay, do check this because it's important. We are going to pull the magic circle closed, and we are going to skip the chain and into the first V here, the V here, which is on top of that first double crochet. You're going to go under that and you are going to do a slip stitch, and this has now sort of made a square middle of our heart, if you can see. Now we are going to chain 2. Now this chain is going to count as the last stitch of our corner stitches here, but of course we're in the last position, so we are just going to forget about that until we get there from the other side. So to do our first side, we are going to find the 3 double crochets that we did in our magic circle, and we are going to do a double crochet on top of each of those. So we are going to do 1 double crochet on top of the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so there we go. So that's our first side. Now we are at the position where we have a treble crochet in the row below, because it sort of sticks out a little bit, and we are going to create a corner in here. The corners are made up of 2 double crochets, 1 treble crochet and 2 double crochets. So I'm yarned over for my first double crochet. I'm going to put them all in that same stitch. So the second double crochet, treble crochet, because we are still doing corners here, and 2 double crochets in with that same lot of stitches there. Okay, and as you can see, we've now got a nice corner. Now we are going to find the 3 double crochets, to each give them a double crochet on top. And this has brought us to that treble crochet again here, and we are doing the same amount of stitches as before in that other corner. So we are doing 2 double crochets, 1 treble crochet, and another 2 double crochets. Once again, we need 3 double crochets for those 3 double crochets underneath. And now we are doing another corner in that treble crochet. So 2 double crochets, 1 treble, and 2 double crochets, all in the same stitch. And now we have another 3 double crochets to do. And now we are in the location here where we have to do a corner. But of course we've already got that chain coming out of there. So that chain is going to be our last double crochet of our corner. So into this stitch we are going to do 2 double crochets, 1 treble, all in that same stitch, and 1 double crochet, because this chain is now going to count as our second double crochet. We're going to skip the chain, go into this V here, and do a slip stitch, and that slip stitch has now become the top of that chain, and that has now become the V for that double crochet, so to speak. As you can see, we've now got the little square in the middle of the heart. Now we are going to get started on doing the little ears. I've been calling it bear ears. And we are actually in the right position to start, So that's great because we don't need to do any slip stitches in this position. Okay, so again we are looking at those 3 middle stitches. We are going to be starting here. We are going to be doing our stitches in this middle stitch here. So find the middle stitch and go underneath there to do your 6 double crochets. So we yarn over, you go under that V of that middle double crochet, and you are going to do 6 double crochets into that same stitch. How many is that? Has anyone counted? Okay, so we've got 2, 4 and 6. So then you're going to skip the next stitch and you're going to do a slip stitch into the first one of the corner. Okay, so we don't use that stitch there, the third one, so to speak. So we do a slip stitch there. Now we need to get to this side to do another one of these little ears. So I am just going to keep slip stitching. It won't, it won't affect the look of the heart, but it just brings us to the right place basically. So take a look and you will see that yes, you need to get to here. So I just do another slip stitch. Right, so now I'm in that same position as before, and here is that middle of those 3 double crochets. This is where I'm going to be doing my 6 stitches. So I'm yarning over and I go into that stitch where I'm going to be doing 6 double crochets. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Oops. Of course, when you start counting, it all goes wrong, doesn't it? Okay, and now we skip this stitch and we do a slip stitch in here. There we go. Okay, I call this the bear phase. And the little ears of the bear, the little eyes and the little nose. Can you see it? Okay, so now we need to get to the corner. So again, I'm going to be doing a couple of slip stitches. Yeah, there we go. That's the one in the corner. So I tend to do one in there as well. Now we are going to turn our work because we need to go back over. We are going to have to do it in a different direction because obviously we can't crochet this way. So you have a choice. Basically, you can cut off your yarn and start again here and do what I'm going to do in a moment, or follow me and just turn your square, and then you don't have to cut off your yarn. You don't have to sew in 4 ends instead of 2. Okay, so I've always turned them. I didn't want to sew in the ends basically. So I turn my square, my heart. I bring my wool around the back of my hook and I yarn over and I look at my little ear here and I find the 6th V. Now yes, it's easy to just start in the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, this would be the first one, but sometimes I got confused with the little slip stitch that we did. So just check to see which is your 6th V, go under there like so, and just start crocheting away by putting 2 double crochets in each V around your little, well, shell really. It's not an ear. It's a little shell. Okay, so it's always nice to see things in your work to make them funny. Right, so make sure you do 2 double crochets in each stitch of that little ear, and you should have 12 double crochet. So let's have a look. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I've got to do another 2 into this last V here. There we go. Okay, now we are going to find that sort of tallest stitch in between here, which I think you can see it, but of course we have slip stitched into it, so don't get confused and just do a slip stitch again, just to anchor your top of your heart there. Okay, I wasn't gonna say ear. Okay, so we have the V here. This is the one for the slip stitch, I think. So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, so this one is the one. So yarn over into that one. So you have to tip your work a little bit because of course we have turned. We are now working from the back. So once again we have another 6 stitches where we are going to do 2 double crochets, careful, in each stitch. These hearts are so quick to make. I really love making them. So you should be able to make a garland in no time. Okay. Just a quick check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. And then again, once again, we find here the sort of corner V. We go under it and we do a slip stitch. Now I tend to turn back so that I'm back working on the front of my heart, and I do a chain and then I go into the V that's underneath there, so the very first one, and I do 3 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches here. Then I go into here and I do 2 single crochets. Then I continue on with doing 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. In the next one I'm going to put 2 single crochets. Then I have another 3 single crochets that I'm going to do, and then yeah, let's do another one. That's fine. Okay, just as long as you get from one to the other. Then we have here the 2 middle stitches, so I've pulled up my yarn and I'm straight away into the second stitch and I'm pulling up again, and now I am pulling completing my single crochet. So here we've done 2 single crochets together to create the middle of the heart, and now we are going to chain 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We then go back into that 2 single crochets together, and I go in and I do a slip stitch wherever I can get in. That's fine. Okay, I'm not too worried. Then I find the first stitch here and I do a single crochet. In fact, that's what I do for the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2 and 3. Next stitch I am going to do 2 single crochets. 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, oops, 1 in the next, sorry, yeah, 1 in the next, and here 1 in the next, and then in the next one another 2. So really I'm doing this because we need to do a few increases here, otherwise it will become a bowl shape. So I've tried to just put them anywhere, so 3, 2, 3, 2, easy, but you know, if you forget, don't worry, just do 1 there and then a 2 there, and it doesn't really matter, you know, as long as you've got some increases in there. I've just done 2 and that seems to keep it flat, so that's fine. Then here, because we've done a bit of turning and twisting here, I just do a single crochet wherever I sort of find the location, and then here we get back to picking up the V's, and that makes it easier. So we make our way all the way to the tip of the heart, and there should be a treble there. So into this treble we are going to do a single crochet, 2 chains and another single crochet in that same stitch. Then we work our way back up the side by just doing single crochets, and we've made a nice little tip here. With doing the 2 chains, that's made a hole that's big enough for the tassel to go in. So here we have done a single crochet in every stitch that I could find. I now am here near that chain, so I'm going to go under the V after the chain, and I'm going to do a little slip stitch, and that is a finished heart. So this is the back of your heart. I think you can see that that's the back, although these ones are at the front, of course, here, and then here we have the front of the heart. And I quite like the fact that it's nicely sort of got these designs on the inside of the heart. So what you'll have to do now is, of course, sew in your ends, but I'm just going to cut them off, and I'm going to show you how I do the invisible end here. So I've pulled this through, so this is just sewn in, and then I do an invisible end on this side here. So I am going to lay this slip stitch over there like that, and I'm going to copy or lay another V over the next stitch like so, and then I go back into that stitch there, bringing the yarn to the back and creating another little V. Look, you can hardly tell where it was now. Okay, so I am going to then sew this in on the back, and I just tend to do a couple of going under, coming back, and then going through. Okay, now we have here a magic circle, of course. I might as well show you that as well, and then I'll have finished my square, my heart. What you need to do here is I always put my thumb on it and I pull it so it's nice and tight. Then I start weaving it in, but I sort of go back one, and then I go sort of into the center of it all. There we go. And I go round like this, around that circle, just in a, yeah, in a circular motion, just so that it wouldn't, you know, sort of get displaced. So there we go. So that is that. And then you cut off the yarn, you hit the camera. And I am now going to do the tassels. So here I have another leftover, so I've made all of these with leftovers. I just lay it round, I spread my fingers out, and I go about, I don't know, 6 times. Not too many. Okay, get my scissors, cut it off there. Then I cut off the middle of the yarn here. I hold on to it like this. I get my hook, and from the back I'm going to insert it into that chain 2 space. I'm going to go under all my strands here, pull them through the chain 2 space, but keep pulling so that your hole is big enough. Come out with your hook, put your fingers in, get the ends of the tassels, pull that through and tug. There we go. And then I just cut them sort of at the I was cutting in the viewfinder then. Sort of where the shortest is, you know, I just cut them. I didn't make them all the same length, but they are a reasonable length. Okay, there we go. So these are all my hearts ready to be assembled onto my chain. Now, I was wondering whether I was going to make a, you know, sort of, you can of course just chain, but I have here 2 little balls, and I thought I might as well try and do a thicker chain by crocheting it, a drawstring cord, that is to say. So I am going to get these 2. I'm going to make a slip knot. There we go. And although I have 2 loops now, that will be sorted out in a moment. I have here the back ball, and I have there the front one. And so what you are going to do is the following. See, it's a little habit. So you go under the front and under the back, and then you pull the back through everything that you have on your hook. Under, back. So on the front one you come from the back, on the back one you come from the front, and you pull it through. And that will make a little bit of a thicker string, and you will be able to, you know, it doesn't stretch. I mean, a chain doesn't stretch either, but this one is sort of nicer to deal with almost. It uses a little bit more yarn, I have to say. So that's why I have those 2 balls. I am wanting to make my string quite long so that I can hang it up, you know, wherever I want, or also tie it to a tree or something like that. I might say do 100 chains. Obviously I haven't counted, and I'm not planning on counting them. It doesn't really matter. What I want to say is have a good amount before and after, so that if you do want to tie it around something, you have enough string to tie it. But what I do try is have the same amount at the end and the back, but of course I just lay it next to each other. I don't count the stitches. So I have about this amount now, which is not very long, and yes, it does use quite a lot of yarn. Okay, so I don't know whether you noticed, but I had laid out my hearts sort of colour coordinated, you know, sort of the way I was going to put them on the garland. So that was ready. So when I decided I had long enough for the end here, for the start, I started adding them on. So I'll show you that in a moment. Then I added more chain, and of course I sort of not remembered, but I sort of measured how long this was, and then I did the same thing again. So I'm trying to put my hearts on sort of, you know, at about the same distance apart. So I kept doing the drawstring cord, and so now I am ready to put another heart on, and so I will show you how I have been doing that, and how obviously I am going to be continuing doing this until I have finished my garland, and then until I have finished another length of that beginning end, so that you have the same kind of end at the end as well, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm holding my yarn like this. I take my next heart, making sure the front is facing towards you. You are then going to go through the loop, and then you are going to pick up the way you usually pick up the front one. Tug that close, then pick up the back and pull it through. It's still not attached, so do the next stitch and off you go again. And that has attached our heart. Okay, so now I just keep doing my drawstring, and each time I reach that distance I am going to put on another heart. I have no idea how long this is, I'm just, you know, doing it sort of the distance that I fancied in between the hearts. So there we go. So I will show you the finished project in a moment. So I hope you have enjoyed making the hearts and putting the garland together. Do show me if you have on my Facebook group, Ophelia Talks Crochet, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!